Okay, here's the project that we're starting today. It is a rail for some customers in Wellington, Kansas. Kind of a cool design. It's got little cutouts at the top. This is George. He's doing the layout for the rail and he's going to get it built. It's a couple of days to get something like this built. The layout that he's doing now is the base for the whole thing. You screw this up, when you're done, the whole project is wrong. It doesn't fit, it looks like it belongs on a different house. It does not fit right. So this is very, very important. Take your time, double check your measurements, get everything exactly the way you want it. So we sped it up a little bit, but this is at least an hour's worth of work just to do the layout. And like I said, it's check, double check, have somebody come over, recheck. It's the important part. It's not very exciting, but if you screw this up, you've screwed up the whole rail. The big aluminum piece that he has, the big silver piece of aluminum straight edge, we've had it for years. It works really well. It's just a nice straight edge. It's a real true piece. Getting the angle set right, getting all the pickets, getting all the nosings for the stairs. When you build a staircase, you work off the nosings so you know exactly where everything lines up. Right now he's going in and setting in the pickets and where the pickets are going to be, so just get everything lined out. It's like drawing it, a picture of it in full scale. His table is like blue. That's Dykem that we put on it so that you can see the layout better. He's got his layout done and it's time to start cutting parts. This is our cold cut saw. It's been in other videos. It does a lot of work. It's a main piece in our shop. It really, really works well. It cuts very accurately. It cuts quickly. It just does work. It cuts accurately enough that you can miter stuff with it. I mean, it's a nice saw. It's an important piece in our shop. This is our second one. Our first one we wore out. We had it for 25 years. So they do work, that is for sure. Here he's cutting the tubes for the posts. The post that we use on this is 1.25 inch square tubing, but we use a really heavy wall tubing. We use 1/8 inch wall tubing, so it's a 120 wall tubing. It's not some 14 gauge stuff that's going to rust out immediately. This has some nice weight to it. Now that he's got the channels cut, he's got to get them forged and bent to just the right angle at the top, that the landing, so that it starts out flat and then breaks and goes down the stairs. He's using a cutting torch instead of like heating tip. The cutting torch has a smaller area that it heats, so you have more control and you get a lot more precise bend out of it. So it works really well for controlling where you want to heat it. I'm just going to check his angle a little bit more. Ah, damn it, too much. It's one of those, I mean, it's surprising how accurate you can get stuff like this bent. It really works well. There's going to be 4 of these. There's going to be 2 bottoms and 2 tops. So the bottoms are bent with like the legs of the channel down so that the pickets come down and land on top of it, where the top, the legs go up so the rail cap can come and sit on top of that and hide it. by having his layout on his table like this. Our tables are big, heavy steel plates. He can tack it down. He knows it's not going to move. So get his posts lined up, get them tacked in place. And start getting the bottom channel so they can get everything put together. Now he's marking where all the pickets go. So once he's done welding up the frame and got the frame all put together, all he has to do is come back and put the pickets in place. He knows exactly where those pickets are going to be. So it's one of those, he spent some time getting the layout done, but now that the layout's done, all he has to do is pretty much assemble it. And since he's doing two, this is left and right, he's just going to build the other one right on top of it. You can see how close you can get that stuff bent with just a torch and being careful. Get everything marked up, trimmed up, get the second one built. Kind of helps being able to build stuff right on top of another. You've already done the layout, you've already done the work. You just have to repeat, copy, repeat. He's tacking the two together just so that they hold still. And it's pretty easy to go back and cut the tacks apart. Got it all tacked together. We're going to get it kind of detailed out a little bit. Put some bracing in so that it just holds everything nice and still and stable while you're moving it. When you go to put it back on your table, you know everything's already where it's supposed to be. Just cheap, easy insurance. And just simple cross bracing like that just makes it super stiff and super stable to move around and not have to worry about it. Okay, time to cut pickets. Back over the cold cut saw. Like I said, this thing is a key piece to our shop. A lot of shops use bandsaws. I don't get it. I mean, we have one, and if we're doing like big stuff and can gang cut stuff for a whole bunch of parts, like hundreds, then the bandsaw can be good. But for what we do, this is it. We'll set the angle at the top of the pickets, top and bottom of the pickets, and just cut away. And since the layout's already done, he knows exactly what he needs and how many pickets he needs. Take it back, tack it back down to his table, take the bracing out, and start putting his pickets in. He's got those two little pieces of bar there to shim up so that the pickets are right in the middle of the channel at the top and the bottom. Make the little ornamentation at the top. Put the last couple pickets in and go to town welding. Try and make really nice clean welds everywhere, and then we come back and clean them up. And it's just one of those, the cleaner the welds are, the easier they are to clean up. We weld all the way around every picket just so that we know everything is sealed up and water isn't going to get in. Helps keep rust out. You come back, you knock the tops off the welds, and it just kind of smooths it up, cleans it up really nice. Now it's time for the rail cap, and we're TIG welding the knob on the end of the rail cap. They're cast iron, and that's all we can get. You used to be able to get cast steel, but these are cast iron. You weld them to the steel rail cap. You need to TIG weld them on with either stainless, or we use silicon bronze rod. And silicon bronze TIG rod is kind of like duct tape. It's really good stuff, but it is expensive. Last time I bought silicon bronze rod, it was $35 a pound, which is expensive for TIG rod. Flip it over, weld up the other side. TIG welding is kind of cool. It's a lot like gas welding. You just create a puddle and move that puddle along of melted steel and add your filler rod as you go along. It works really, really well for specialty stuff. For production stuff, it's kind of slow, but when you're doing something like this, it's a really, really good choice. There's the other end on the other rail. You can see on the machine down below, the little Lincoln down below, you can see is running about 150 amps-ish. So running pretty hot. You want to get pretty good penetration on stuff like this. Again, TIG welding is kind of slow. That's why it's not really a production thing for us. Now here's where a lot of people say that if you grind a weld, you're not a welder, you're a grinder. Well, if you build a finished product, it needs to be cleaned up and ground. And when it comes to grinding, there's a definite skill to it. To be able to make that look like one piece, look like you didn't add something on the end of it, is a definite skill. It's time to put the cap on the rail to get everything finished out. And the cap you can just tack in place. Well, you stitch weld it, you don't tack it. That mitered corner there is one of the things that our cold cut saw is really good at. That corner's really nice and tight, and it'll be real easy for George to come back and weld it and grind it and clean it up so it looks nice. Get it ground down so if everything fits nice, looks nice. I mean, that end's going up against a stone wall, so I mean, you'd never see it, but really want to come back and finish your product. We take pride in what we build. We want a finished product coming out of our shop. People pay good money for it, and we want it to look nice. The end that he just finished goes against a stone wall, and it doesn't matter, it needs to look nice. Flip it over, weld the cap on the other side real quick, get nice clean little welds in there and make it look nice. Time to do a little detail work, get everything cleaned up, clean up the mitered corner, and just make everything nice and smooth so there isn't anything sharp or you can get your hands on. These are our finished rails, ready to go to powder coat. I think they look really nice. Kind of a cool, simple design, just having that rectangle at the top. Nothing fancy, just kind of cool. Okay, it's time to get it installed. This is a whole nother ball game. Getting everything set up so it looks exactly right, marked up, ready to start drilling the holes. Once you got everything marked up, you can start drilling your holes. We use a rotary hammer. It drills holes really slow, but it works really well. I mean, this is obviously sped up a lot. So we drill a 3-inch hole, 4 inches down, set our rails in them, get them centered up, leveled up real nice, put anchoring cement around them, and let them go. They hold up really well. It's a commercial install, so they're very strong and work really, really well. I think these came out really nice. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to watch those and I'll respond to them. Also, our website is on the screen, jensendesign.net. You can get a hold of us there. We'll be more than happy to help you with any designs or ideas you might have. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.